another cult classic today in Cannon Fodder on the Mega Drive, and this is a game that I played quite extensively actually. Never owned it, used to borrow it from my cousin, and yeah, this one was really fun. And I don't know if I'd call it a strategy game per se, or more of a shoot 'em up, but it is different. You play from a sort of isometric perspective, a bit like a game sort of like Command & Conquer, that type of thing. But look at the introductions to levels, how cool is that? Really good looking still. And yeah, let's see how it holds up. This was developed by Sensible Software of Sensible Soccer fame, of course. And look at it, I think it really stands up even now, just looking at from a visual perspective. It's got a style all of its own. As you can see, you move your troops around with the cursor, very much like, as I mentioned, a sort of RTS, real-time strategy. But it's more of a, move them around, click on where you want them to shoot and that type of thing, as opposed to, sort of building bases and that type of thing. But very cool. If I remember rightly, you can cross the water. Let's have a look down here. The main crux of the levels is to basically just find all of the enemy combatants, dispatch them. I remember a lot of the time it'd get a bit frustrating. You'd just be looking for one stray soldier that might have got lost in a bush or something along those lines, which would sometimes delay things unnecessarily. Look at that. I really do think this holds up. It's very good looking still. This came out in 1994 on the Mega Drive, but it had been out a year, I think, prior to that on the Amiga. And you can get that feeling that it's a port from the Amiga, can't you, with the cursor controls. Did come out on pretty much everything else, I think, around the time. From looking at it, obviously came out on the Super Nintendo, the Jaguar, the 3DO. And apparently there was a port in the year 2000 for the Game Boy Color, which I can imagine was pretty cool. I'd have liked to have given that a go. Very much holds up. You can never be certain with these. I remember there's been so many games that I liked as a kid and we've gone back to through playing through the Mega Drive library, and it's just not quite held up. But I think this does, I have to say. One interesting thing that I saw from my research was this was actually built on the same engine as Sensible Soccer, and you can definitely see that, can't you? Anyone who played a lot of Sensible Soccer, you can replace these soldiers with footballers and you're getting somewhere near to the look. But it's very good. This was absolutely loved back on release. It got some great reviews. So it's held in very high regard. Let's see where we go. We've got a bridge to go across here. You see what I mean? Like that guy just like on his own, kind of hidden around the trees. I remember there being a couple of occasions when that would happen, and you'd sort of, oh, look at these guys are coming for me from the water. Yeah, you'd be sort of going around the map for ages looking for the one remaining soldier that you missed. That was the only frustration I had. Not really frustration, I don't know if that's the right word, or, that was the challenge you faced, if you will. But very good. It definitely holds up. And the levels, they're not all samey or anything like that. I know that you go to different environments like snow and desert, that type of thing, which keeps things fresh. Remember rightly, some of the enemies that you face as well, they're not all just walking towards you. I think that, you do eventually come across people in tanks, in vans and trucks, that type of thing. But I just think it's games like this that you should go back to, and if you've never played them, give them a go. This is a really fun little game still for a quick bash. And I'm certain that there's a market maybe for sort of a remaster of this, or I don't know, could you do a new Cannon Fodder? Maybe a squad-based shooter in the same vein, but maybe from a third-person perspective? I think you could, and I think it'd be very good. The thing it'd have to keep is that same kind of sense of humour, because it has got, you know, it doesn't take itself seriously, this game. It's very much done very tongue-in-cheek. And it's somewhat violent as well. And if you see, there's a little bit of gore when I murder the enemy soldiers. I just kept shooting that guy's corpse all the way across the river. Oh god, brilliant. Oh, I missed him though. What's he doing? Is he shooting me in the water, or is he just following me? Means you can't shoot as freely. You need to get onto dry land. I can't even tell what that is that's floating. Is that some kind of squid? I'm not sure. I think as you sort of get further into the game, the ranks of your soldiers do matter, like, you know, in terms of what equipment they can use and that type of thing. I think, you know, it certainly gets deeper as it goes further into the game. Just very fun, and it's such a difference to, you know, the more kind of standard titles on the Mega Drive library. You know, there isn't an awful lot of strategy that comes to mind. You've got games, if we're calling it strategy, you know, you've got games like Populous and Syndicate, I suppose you could maybe compare this to as well. But yeah, I think this is fantastic. Really good. And I'm just pleased to see that it's, you know, stood up to the memories that I had of it. I think it's one of the best looking games we've played so far as well. You can clearly see that it's come from the Amiga, from more powerful hardware, and they've done a great job moving this across. Quite a late release for the Mega Drive as well, of course, which stands to reason. If it came out in 1994, it would have been either during the same period as the Saturn being released or just before. And that goes for the original Sony PlayStation 1 as well. As you can see, you've got this, look at the end of the level. It tells us who of my soldiers died during the last mission. Such a cool touch. Rest in peace, Jules. Mission 3, Antarctic Adventure. There we go, you see. I remember there being some snow levels. Really cool. I mean, the gameplay remains very much the same, but you could just spend hours on it. Very fun. And I like the way that you look at this level, how they're on different tiers. You know, there's get my words out here. There's, you know, a tier above you. You can go up and down. It's not just a flat surface, which keeps it fresh. You've got to go up hills and yeah, very fun. I think it's got a really good sense of atmosphere as well, with the whole look, with the way the levels come in and everything. It feels very unique. I'm surprised when you look at it how gory it is. I don't remember that being an issue back in the day, but wow. Just absolutely bludgeoning these people. Wow. So there we go, that's Cannon Fodder on the Mega Drive. A really fun game that I remember being as good as it is, but I weren't certain. It's a long number of years since I've played this. I bet, you know, I'm 35. We're probably, I guess, I would say maybe 25 years, 24 years, something like that, since I've played this game. But it's really good still, undoubtedly. And from what I remember, there's an awful lot of levels. You know, this is such a long, meaty experience for the system, and it stands up. It stands up to everything I remember. It's absolutely deserving of the acclaim that it got back in the day. And I think it's time that this were brought back. I think there's a market for this. Cannon Fodder, brilliant game.